Hello everyone, welcome to LBS IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss polity MCQs based on previous year UPSC questions. So let's start our session. Our first question is, which part of the Constitution of India declares the ideal of welfare state? Options are Directive Principles of State Policy, Fundamental Rights, Preamble and 7th Schedule. Here answer to this question is option A, Directive Principles of State Policy. The welfare state is a concept of government in which the state plays a key role in the protection and promotion of economic and social well-being of its citizens. The Indian Constitution declares the concept of welfare state in DPSP. So here answer to this question is option A, DPSP. Consider the following statements. Statement number 1. The Constitution of India defines its basic structure in terms of federalism, secularism, fundamental rights and democracy. That is incorrect. Statement number 2. The Constitution of India provides for judicial review to safeguard the citizens' liberties and to preserve the ideals on which the Constitution is based. That is incorrect. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Here answer to this question is option D. Neither one nor two of the statements are correct. The Supreme Court has defined the basic structures. The concept of basic structure came into existence in the landmark judgment in the Keshavananda Bharati case. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. The judicial review doctrine is based on the principle of rule of law and separation of powers. Judicial review is the process for testing and balancing the separation of powers. The concept of judicial review is the basic principle of the Constitution in India. Although there is no explicit provision in the Indian Constitution for judicial review, it's an integral part of our Constitution. Hence, statement 2 is incorrect. So, the answer to this question is option D. Neither one nor two of the statements are correct. With reference to Indian judiciary, consider the following statements. Statement number 1. Any retired judge of the Supreme Court of India can be called back to sit and act as a Supreme Court judge by Chief Justice of India with the prior permission of President of India. That is correct. Statement number 2. A High Court in India has the power to review its own judgment as the Supreme Court does. That is incorrect because a High Court can review its own judgment but it differs from Supreme Court. That is, review power of High Court is court of record, but review power of Supreme Court is constitutional. So, which of the statement given above is or are correct? Here, answer to this question is option A. Statement 1 only is correct. As per Article 128, Chief Justice of India may at any time, with the previous consent of President, request any person who has held the office of a Judge of Supreme Court or the Federal Court or the High Court and is duly qualified for the appointment as a Judge of Supreme Court to sit and act as a Judge of Supreme Court. Hence, statement 1 is correct. As a court of record, a High Court also has the power to review and correct its own judgment or order or decision, even though no specific power of review is conferred on it by Constitution. The Supreme Court, on the other hand, has been specifically conferred with the power of review by Constitution. Hence, statement 2 is incorrect. Because as a court of record, High Court has the power to review its own judgment. But Supreme Court has been specifically conferred with the power of review by the Constitution. So both are different. So the answer to this question is option A. Statement 1 only is correct. Which one of the following best defines the term state? Options are a community of persons permanently occupying a definite territory, independent of external control and possessing an organized government. That is correct. Since all other options doesn't mention about independent of external control, we can choose the answer as option A. So, her answer to this question is option A. In political science, the term state has a more specific and definite meaning. The word state means a community or society politically organized under one independent government within a definite territory. It alone has the prerogative of making laws. The lawmaking power derives from sovereignty, which is the most distinctive characteristics of the state. Hence, option 1 is correct. So, the answer to this question is option A. Which one of the following in Indian polity is an essential feature that indicates that it is federal in character? Options are the independence of judiciary is safeguarded, the union legislature has elected representatives from constituent units, the union cabinet can have elected representatives from regional parties, the fundamental rights are enforceable by courts of law. The answer to this question is option A, that is, independence of judiciary is safeguarded. The most important feature of the federal system adopted by Indian Constitution is based on the principle that Relations between the state and the center would be based on cooperation. And for this, independence of judiciary is the prerequisite. Hence, option 1 is correct. Federal features of Indian Constitution includes dual polity consisting of the union at the center and states at the periphery. Written constitution, division of powers between center and the states, supremacy of the constitution, rigidity of the constitution, bicameral legislature consisting of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, independent judiciary. These are federal features of Indian Constitution. So here answer to this question is option A, independence of judiciary is safeguarded. Consider the following statements. Statement number 1. In India, there is no law restricting candidates from contesting in one Lok Sabha election from 3 constituencies. That is incorrect. Statement number 2. In 1991 Lok Sabha election, Sri Devilal contested from 3 Lok Sabha constituencies. That is correct. Statement number 3. As per the existing rules, if a candidate contests in one Lok Sabha election from many constituencies, his or her party should bear the cost of by-election to the constituencies vacated by him in the event of he winning all the constituencies. That is incorrect. Which of the statement given above is or are correct? Here answer to this question is option B, statement 2 only is correct. As per section 33 of the Representation of People Act 1951, one candidate can contest from a maximum of 2 constituencies. More constituencies were allowed until 1996. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. In every case, the Election Commission of India bears the cost of elections in all the constituencies in Lok Sabha and Assembly election as well. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. So, statement 2 only is the correct answer. In 1991 Lok Sabha election, Sri Devilal contested from 3 Lok Sabha constituencies. So, here answer to this question is option B. With reference to the union government, consider the following statement. Statement number 1. N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar committee suggested that a minister and a secretary be designated solely for pursuing the subject of administrative reform and promoting it. That is incorrect. Statement number 2. In 1970, the Department of Personnel was constituted on the recommendation of Administrative Reform Commission 1966 and this was placed under Prime Minister's charge. That is correct. Which of the statement given above is or are correct? Here answer to this question is option B. Statement 2 only is correct. Statement 1 is incorrect. It nowhere mentioned that a minister and a secretary be designated solely for pursuing the subject of administrative reform and promoting it. Statement 2 is correct. In 1970, on the basis of recommendation of the Administrative Reform Commission, the Department of Personnel was set up in the Cabinet Secretariat. It was placed under Prime Minister's office. So, her answer to this question is option D. Statement 2 only is correct. Right to privacy is protected under which article of the Constitution of India? Options are Article 15, Article 19, Article 21, Article 29. The answer to this question is option C, Article 21. The right to privacy is protected as an intrinsic part of the right to life and personal liberty under Article 21 and as a part of the freedoms guaranteed by Part 3 of the Constitution. So, her answer to this question is option C, Article 21. With reference to India, consider the following statements. Statement number 1. When a prisoner makes out a sufficient case, parole cannot be denied to such prisoner because it becomes a matter of his or her right. That is incorrect. Statement number 2. State government have their own prisoners released on parole rules. That is correct. Which of the statement given above is or are correct? Here answer to this question is option B. Statement 2 only is correct. Parole is not a right and is given to a prisoner for a specific reason, such as a death in family or a wedding of a blood relative. If the competent authority is satisfied on valid grounds that the release of prisoner on parole would not be against the interest of society or the prison administration. The provision of parole is a privilege or concession but not a right of any convicted prisoner. Hence, statement 1 is incorrect. Prison is a state subject under the state list of 7th schedule of Constitution. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Also, the Prisons Act says that only states can make rules regarding the release of prisoners on furlough, parole and remission as part of the correctional process in jail reforms. So, her answer to this question is option D. Statement 2 only is correct. At the national level, which ministry is the nodal agency to ensure effective implementation of Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act 2006? Options are Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Ministry of Panchayati Raj, Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Here, answer to this question is option D, Ministry of Tribal Affairs. The Union Ministry of Tribal Affairs is the nodal agency for the implementation of Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act 2006. The ministry deals with forest and livelihood objectives at the national level. So the answer to this question is option D, Ministry of Tribal Affairs.